So you got elliptic partial differential equation, parabolic and hyperbolic. Elliptic is the equation you see for potential problems. So like second derivative of u plus second derivative of u with x and y is equal to 0. This is an elliptic differential equation. This you see in case of steady state heat transfer problems, and also in the case of elasticity problems when there is an equilibrium situation. Then you have parabolic differential equation where you have got one time derivative is equal to others are second order derivatives with x or y and z. So this is a heat diffusion equation. This is called a parabolic differential equation. Then there is hyperbolic. So u is having a second derivative with time as well as with position. If your situation is quasi-static, that is, there is no acceleration, then this equation converts to an elliptic differential equation. In a parabolic differential equation, information diffuses at infinite speed, though progressively. I will explain what is the meaning. And for hyperbolic differential equation, seen in case of wave propagation, information propagates at finite speed. Like your c here is a speed of travel of information. But solutions are seen discontinuously. So a wave front propagates discontinuously. So you can have these are called initial and boundary value problems. You give initial conditions and boundary conditions. For example, for the elliptic differential equation, you have to give boundary conditions, displacement or gradient, displacement or derivative of displacement at the boundary. In parabolic differential equation, you see there is only a first derivative of with time of the unknown variable u. So here you will have to give some initial conditions. For parabolic situation, where you have first derivative only, your initial condition is either displacement or velocity. So initial condition can be displacement or velocity. For example, in the case of temperature, your initial conditions are initial temperature. Okay. So that is, you have only one initial condition. So you won't have any temperature derivative. In the initial condition, you will just give temperature, initial temperature throughout the domain. And you see, u has a second derivative with respect to x. So you need two boundary conditions. Okay. So either you should have displacement if it is a okay, so we will see again how to give the boundary condition. For initial condition, there is only single derivative, so you have only displacement. In the hyperbolic case, you have a second derivative, so you have got initial displacement as well as initial velocity throughout the domain. And boundary conditions. So if it is a infinite domain, okay, so you have got one boundary condition. Suppose this is semi-infinite domain. If it is semi-infinite domain, so your boundary starts from x is equal to 0 and goes to infinity. So at x is equal to 0, you will have to give boundary conditions like velocity for all time at x equal to 0, and for infinite disposition for x is equal to infinity, you have got some radiation condition. The radiation condition involves zero velocity at the far off end. So you have such a solution that solution doesn't grow up, or it stays bounded at x is equal to infinity. So such are the initial and boundary value problems. Then another thing is these are known as field equations. These differential equations are called field equations. They should be satisfied within the body. You can call the body as omega. They are not required to hold on the boundary. Boundary you can represent by delta omega. Omega is used as an open set of points in space. It is called in topological sense. These kind of things are seen in a subject of mathematics called topology. So we are talking of semi-infinite or infinite bodies. You give velocity at this point and x is equal to 0. You want to find the solution for all x. Initial condition, I just told you one initial condition for heat diffusion, two initial conditions of wave propagation. If you have a boundary, if you have a bending problem, you will come to see your differential equation has got is of fourth order. Fourth order derivative are there. There we will need four boundary conditions. So you see, you are given an initial velocity v naught at this end, and if you look at the solution at time t is equal to t star, so you will find that this wave propagation has some speed equal to given by c. So till c into time, this velocity is transmitted in this medium, and you will find the velocity as same velocity as that is given at this end. So this was the snapshot at t is equal to t star. And if you look at the velocity at the velocity at position x star for all time t. So if suppose you are here, then till the time wave reaches it, it is having zero velocity. But once the wave reaches it, it gets a velocity equal to v naught, and same velocity stays for all time. This velocity is being given at x equal to 0 for all time. Suppose you give a constant velocity at this end equal to v naught. So you see this kind of a solution is there. So this solution propagates at a finite wave speed called c, and the solution is discontinuous. You see, there is no velocity in the medium till the wave reaches it, and suddenly there will be a finite jump in velocity. So you see all the medium here is having finite speed, where you have the wave has reached. The rest everything is quiet. So this is the answer for velocity. H is a Heaviside function. H into t minus x by c means h, this is equal to 1 when t is greater than or equal to x by c. Before that it is 0. If you integrate this expression, you will get this answer. Okay. Simple integration gives you this. So that gives you the displacement at a point x and time t. So this was the case of a semi-infinite elastic bar subjected to a velocity discontinuity. So we have seen spatial and time profiles of the particle velocity, and discontinuity propagates at wave speed c is equal to E by rho. So this you will learn later on. E is the Young's modulus, rho is the density. So this equation you just see here, c square is equal to E by rho, Young's modulus upon density. Another thing is, if displacement or velocity is prescribed at a point, its gradient is response of the structure. If displacement gradient is prescribed, displacement is response of the structure. You cannot give both displacement and displacement gradient. So such conditions are called incompatible boundary conditions. For example, if you specify both temperature and heat flux. So you can either give temperature or heat flux for the thermal problem. In a non-dissipative material, wavefront carrying the mechanical information propagates undistorted and with a constant amplitude. Here we had seen a wave propagation in a non-dispersive medium. There was no dissipation. So the wave propagates in a sharp manner without any dissipation, without any distortion, with a constant amplitude. Any questions? Brij Bhushan, any questions?
No, sir.
So I'm talking of a case of a heat diffusion, which you see in the case of parabolic differential equation for a semi-infinite bar, which is subjected to a heat shock at its left boundary. X is equal to 0. The characteristic time that can be used to describe the information that reaches the position x is equal to L is equal to L square by D. You might have seen such solutions of such problems. Some error function is there or complementary error functions. So I've shown here. So T infinity is the initial temperature in the bar. T naught is the temperature applied at the left end. So this is the current temperature minus initial temperature is equal to temperature at the left end minus initial temperature into this function. So you see suppose your bar is of length. To propagate a distance of L, you need some time.
The screen is not visible to us.
What is not visible?
The screen is not visible. The
Is it?
Yes, sir.
Earlier it was visible.
Yes, sir.
yes, the particle differential equation, it was visible, that PDF.
Okay. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
We have a case of a heat diffusion on a semi-infinite bar. So this semi-infinite bar is subjected to a heat shock at its left boundary at x equal to 0. So T infinity means initial temperature in the bar. T naught is the temperature at the left end applied at time t is equal to 0. So txt is the time at position x and time t. So we have shown the distribution of temperature. So for at certain distance from the left boundary, you see at t is equal to at x equal to 0, you get temperature, full value of the temperature as applied. This ratio becomes 1. And suppose your time is equal to infinite time, then what you will get? Value of 1 throughout the body. It takes about infinite time to equilibrate. What is temperature equilibrium? Everywhere same temperature. Only then heat flow will stop. But you have got some time, for example, here 10 power 5 seconds. So you will find that at x equal to 0, you have got full value, but far away it is less. But the only thing is, every position in the bar immediately comes to know that a temperature shock is given at the left boundary. Though it takes time for the temperature to diffuse to the far end, but immediately its effect is known throughout. So that is why we say it has an infinite speed of information travels at an infinite speed for a parabolic differential equation. But it takes time to diffuse. You see, if time is 10 power minus 1 second, T upon Tf is here 1. If T is 10 power minus 1 into 10 power 5, temperature built up is less. You see, temperature propagated is much lower as your time is reduced. Similarly, we look at position wise. When we are very close to the left end, you see, it reaches the maximum value as soon, and you are at the maximum value. But for farther away positions, it takes time to build up the solution. You see, it has not yet gone to the full value. But if you go for infinite time, this will go and reach the value of 1. So this is the way your solution behaves for a heat transfer problem. So this gentleman has come so late. Who is this Mahendra Kumar Arya? So because of him, my recording will stop. Now you see parabolic partial differential equation. We discussed diffusion of a heat shock. T is equal to T0 T is the temperature at the left boundary. Initial condition was at T is equal to 0. You had applied T infinity uniform along the bar. We have described the field as initial temperature, current temperature minus initial temperature. So this is the energy equation. We had discussed it in the last class. This is specific heat per unit volume into temperature derivative with time is equal to minus divergence of Q or heat flux. So this is internal energy of the bar, internal energy of any differential volume. This will be given by, this is a time derivative of internal energy of a small volume. So that is happening. Energy change is happening because of loss of heat due to conduction. We are assuming there is no heat source in the bar. So what will happen? Divergence of Q shows energy leaving the volume. Okay. Divergence is kind of a rate of expansion. So this shows the heat leaving the elemental volume. Minus sign is applied because heat loss leads to reduction in internal energy. So this is time derivative of internal energy. This will be equal to minus heat flux, outward heat flux. Now there is a Fourier's law of heat conduction. This heat flux is given by this expression. So you can put this Q in this equation, and you will get this equation: del theta by del T is equal to KT by C into second derivative of theta with X. So this is known as our field equation. Initial condition is we give temperature at T is equal to 0. We say it is 0. This shows as a difference between difference of temperature from initial temperature. And boundary condition we are given at left hand equal to, this is like temperature applied at the left face. And the other face, which since the bar is of semi-infinite length, for that we have a radiation condition that solution is finite at that time. The radiation condition implies that the thermal information diffuses in a single direction, namely towards increasing X, and the bar is either of infinite length. Bar is of, if the bar is of infinite length, then information will propagate in both the directions. Okay. Then you will not have even this boundary condition. You will have radiation condition at both the ends. So what we see in this case of heat conduction, thermal information diffuses at infinite speed. The meaning is the fact that boundary x equal to 0 has been heated is known instantaneously at any point of the bar. Amplitude of the thermal shock applied at the boundary requires time to fully develop in the bar. Temperature needs an infinite time to equilibrate along the bar. This I already explained. Do you understand? Bhujendra Prasad. So here I am telling you about different kind of differential equations. Actually, your solution methodology depends on the type of differential equation you are having. If it is a parabolic differential equation, you use a different strategy. If it is an elliptic differential equation, you use a different strategy. If it is a hyperbolic differential equation, another strategy. And also boundary conditions are different. So it is important to know different type of differential. Any questions? Now we are going to an equation displaying advection diffusion. So diffusion of a species dissolved in a fluid at rest follows the same equation as thermal diffusion. We talked about thermal diffusion. Similarly, you can talk of a solute dissolved in a liquid. If the liquid is stationary, that solute diffuses in the same manner as thermal diffusion. For example, you have a bottle, you open a bottle of scent in the room, then because of concentration gradient, that scent will spread throughout the room. Similarly, like thermal diffusion. If we assume that air is at rest. Okay. Now we assume velocity of fluid referred to as advective velocity to be a given constant. Now we assume there is a flowing fluid. So assume fluid moves with velocity v and solute moves with velocity vs. Okay. So absolute flux is C is the concentration at any point into vs. This is the absolute flux of the species or your solute. And what is the diffusive flux? This is concentration of the solute into speed at which solute moves minus speed at which fluid moves. So this is the diffusive flux. So J can be written as J diffusive plus CV. So this is a diffusive flow due to diffusion or concentration gradient plus flow due to velocity of fluid. Then we have got Fick's law, which tells about the diffusive flux. It is given by diffusion coefficient multiplied by concentration gradient. So there is a minus sign, just like as we did for the case of thermal conduction. We saw why there is a minus sign. So we get mass balance as del C by del T is equal to minus divergence of J. I told you divergence of J means flux, outward flux of the solute. It represents the outward flux of the solute per unit volume. So this represents the time derivative of solute in that small volume. So that will be given by minus of that divergence of J, because divergence of J implies net movement out of that volume. So you have to put a negative sign. So you replace J by JD plus CV. So you get your field equation as D del square C by del X square minus V del C by del X. You look at this. This is what it comes to be. So for time greater than 0 and x greater than 0, this is a field equation. You see this term represents the movement of, this represents the divergence of flux due to diffusion, and this is the convective effect or the outflow of solute due to the fluid velocity. Okay, so that is called advection, when things are moving because of fluid motion. Or you know about convection and advection. In heat transfer you talk of convection, here you call it advection. Now you see there is a single derivative of time with of C. So you got only one initial condition. C x comma 0 is equal to initial concentration. Then you have got two boundary conditions. You have got a second derivative with x. So at x is equal to 0, you give concentration given at x is equal to 0. So this is like a concentration discontinuity imposed at x equal to 0. And then you have a radiation condition, meaning at infinite distance, solution should be bounded. So a concentration discontinuity is imposed at x equal to 0, namely C0 t is equal to C naught ht. St is a Heaviside function which has value 1 at t greater than or equal to 0, and for t less than 0 its value is 0. So this solution can be seen as displaying a front propagating towards x equal to infinity, which is smoothed out by the diffusion phenomena. So you'll find this solution is slightly different from your thermal phenomena, thermal heat conduction, as well as from your wave effects that we did in the case of hyperbolic situation. This equation is also of parabolic type. Here we define a Peclet number which quantifies the relative weight of advection and diffusion. If you have a pure diffusion, then your Peclet number is 0. And if you have a Peclet number going to infinity, it is dominated by convection or advection. So I have given this much less than 1 diffusion dominated flow, much greater than 1 advection dominated flow. There is a characteristic time of diffusion given by L square by D. L is the characteristic length, D is the diffusion coefficient. Similarly, characteristic time of advection is given by length upon velocity. So here you see the solutions. When Peclet number is 0, so you have a case of pure diffusion. So you see your solution is gradually building up. So it takes time to build up. It is gradually, it will become like a full value of t. Theta will be realized like a straight line only when at infinite time. Otherwise, it is gradually building up. Okay. Now you see for Peclet number 2, you're better off till the position your convective effects reached, you have achieved full value. Thereafter, it is slowly rising. So value is being realized slowly. And again, you see here when you have a large Peclet number 10, so you see full value realized to certain distance where convective effects have reached. Elsewhere, it is slowly building up. So we see the effect of both the convection advection effect as well as diffusion effect. Even if we say that the fluid is having a constant velocity, average velocity can be constant, but it cannot have all particles have some thermal variation in velocity. Okay, so that thermal variation causes diffusive effects. You can't be having, so particles tend to go around just with the constant velocity as well as because of some fluctuations in velocity. There are additional effects responsible for the diffusive effects. Any problem? These things are a little complicated, and maybe you have already seen in your heat transfer course or otherwise. Okay. Now I'll tell you a finite bar case. What happens in a finite bar case? You see, I have a finite bar with ends at control temperature. Now you see boundary conditions are at both the ends. So you are given theta. Theta I have taken as temperature at position X and T minus initial temperature. Okay, so you see at these two ends, I have given theta is 0 and initial temperature is given, which is like a sine function. Your bar has some initial temperature given by sine function. You see theta x comma 0, t is equal to 0. And at x is equal to 0 and at x is equal to 1, you say you have got 0 temperature. Okay. So what will happen? This is a field equation. Yeah, this is a transient heat conduction equation. So you are given the domain as 0 and 1, 0 to 1. So your initial condition is this. Your boundary conditions is this. You need two boundary conditions because you have a second derivative in with x. So you have to find theta along the bar at t greater than 0. This is the analytical solution for this. The spatial temperature profile remains identical in time, but its variation with respect to temperature imposed at the boundaries decreasing ultimately vanishes. In other words, the information imposed at the boundaries penetrates progressively in the body. Since temperature is imposed at the ends, heat fluxes at these ends, x equal to 0 and 1, can be seen as the response of the structure to a constraint. So since you have given temperature at the ends, you can find heat flux at these ends as a solution. You see, this upper curve was the initial temperature. With time, this temperature is going down. And finally, you will get a flat thing. Everywhere same temperature equal to 0. Okay. Or same as initial temperature. As we have maintained a temperature here. So same temperature will be established at time t is equal to infinity throughout the bar. So here, since we have given temperature at the ends, you are having some heat transfer here. So you see temperature is going down. Somewhere the heat must be going away. So heat is being lost from these ends. And you can find the heat flux here as a solution of this problem. Similarly, we have a Green's function. What is a Green's function? It's the solution to a point source at the origin. Suppose you have a point source here at x equal to 0. So point source means delta x. You must have seen this. This is a direct delta function. You give the value at this time t is equal to 0. At position x given by delta x. So you apply the point source at time t is equal to 0 at position x equal to 0. Now you see what happens. So this is the solution of that problem. You have applied a point source. So this direct delta function means some kind of a at t is equal to 0, you are given a large input here. It's like an impulse and its integral is 1. If you take the integral of the delta x, it will be 1. And distribution of the temperature with x and t, you see, is given by this. Initially it is like this. Gradually it is spreading. You see, with this kind, this is the direction as your temperature increases. So you are given a heat shock at x equal to 0 and t is equal to 0. Initial condition u is equal to 0. So if you look at this, you will achieve a value When this time goes to infinity, it becomes flat. Everywhere you've got the same temperatures. I have to check it. Why there is a difference here? Maybe here we have given this input at all time, while here it is only for a short time at t is equal to 0. That is why it is the solution is going to full value, and here it is gradually building up as t increases. Okay. Any problem, Vijendra Prasad? Not that easy. No, this is slightly weird, but you just read it out. Vijendra Prasad, read it out.
Classification of first order linear partial differential equations. First is number of real eigenvalues when it is equal to 0. It is called system. Then the system is elliptic. Second, when the eigenvalues are real and distinct, it will be hyperbolic. Third, when
Eigenvalues are
eigenvalues are real and the system is not defective, it is hyperbolic. The fourth, when the eigenvalues are real but the system is defective, then it is parabolic. Then a system of size n is said to be non-defective if the eigenvectors generate r to power n, that is algebraic and geometric multiplicities of each eigenvector are identical. So
suppose this is our differential equations. This is the first order differential equation. Do you see? And here you can use a vector. It's a set of equations. We'll talk about this. So this equation can be written in this form. This is a divergence type of expression. You see, I had told you about divergence type of expression. There was something del by del x, del by del t. It can be a conservation law if this fu is like del u by del t plus this. Then this is one typical second order partial differential equation. So here if you see this b square minus ac is greater than 0, this is a hyperbolic situation. For wave equation we see this. If this is equal to 0, it's a parabolic situation. If it is less than 0, it is an elliptic. So all this I will do some other day, okay? So what is your feeling? Vijendra Prasad, what did you learn today?
various expressions for partial differential equation.